Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is Prehistoric Facts special extra episode, extra episode number 74, extinction profile number 3, and we're going to be talking about the Permian Extinction, aka the Great Dying, which is considered to be the biggest extinction event in Earth's history. And so let's talk about this extinction, shall we? First off, we should start out what the Permian period is. And so, Permian period is in the Paleozoic era. In the geologic time scale, show the geologic time scale in a minute. And then so the Permian period was around 299 to 252 million years ago. So in that time span, in the geologic time scale, or otherwise in Earth's history, is when the Permian period actually happened. And we have the giant supercontinent called Pangaea that was formed in the Permian, and then we have the largest ocean ever in Earth's history. At that point in time, there would have been plenty of trees, ferns, and cycads, no grass and no flowers during that particular kind of time for flora. And then you have plenty of deserts, subtropical areas, and even forests that were around too. So here's the geologic time scale, and so where you can see those arrows are pointing, this is the Permian period. And so in the Paleozoic era, and so you can see where the Permian period is. So in this like kind of dark orange or orangish red type of color there, you actually see the Permian period. And so that's where the Permian is. And here's a map of Pangaea during the time of the Permian. This is during the late Permian area part of the period, the late Permian, 255 million years ago. Now you can see this circle right here. This is what I will be talking about next. It's basically the location of a very, very serious event that actually happened there. And so let's actually get right to some of the animals that actually lived around that kind of time. So the fauna for the Permian, you actually have plenty of insects, mollusks, fish, sharks, amphibians. Some of these amphibians were pretty large. Some of these amphibians could be as long as an American alligator, and so that is pretty good. That is a pretty good amount of size. You got reptiles that were around there too, and therapsids. And therapsids were proto mammals, or the ways the formerly known as mammal-like reptiles. And so the therapsids are pretty much the animals that are closely related to mammals. Excuse me, mammals. The reptiles around that point in time, it would have been pretty much a lot of reptiles. The Permian is where the reptiles started to dominate uh, the entire Earth in terms of the landscape, in terms of land. And yeah, this is a really, really good time for reptiles to take over. And so here are some images here. You can see some of the animals and plants that were around that particular point in time. And so you actually have but this is actually during the early part of the Permian, where you have creatures like Dimetrodon, Edaphosaurus, and then you have like giant dragonfly-like creatures, kind of very similar to Meganura. And you actually have therapsids like the Gorgonopsians. The Gorgonopsians were the top predators in on the Earth at that point in time on land during the later parts of the Permian. And in the oceans, you actually had some pretty crazy looking creatures. Like this one, Helicoprion, a shark like creature that lived in the oceans. And so these were pretty crazy looking creatures. And the Permian was a very strange looking point in time in Earth's history. Now, the cause of the extinction, it would have been a volcanic eruption or known as a flood basalt. And this is a flood basalt is basically a huge volcanic eruption in a large area that spews out magma or lava, and they continue to spew out more and more and more lava or magma onto the surface. And it just creates a whole slew of problems. And this started in the Siberian traps, so in Siberia in Russia. And this is a very large eruption, like I said, and a lot of gases were being put into the atmosphere with these flood basalts, like carbon dioxide, and of course the most dangerous greenhouse gas, methane. Methane was being released into the atmosphere at that point in time in in the extinction, in the Permian Triassic extinction. And so the end Permian extinction, there would have been a lot of greenhouse gases. So it heated up the atmosphere, heated up the land, heated up the oceans. I mean, you name it. And that's when the oceans started to get really acidic. And that is a problem for a lot of life in the oceans, because when the oceans do get acidic, a lot of animals can't survive that, because if the pH is very acidic for the oceans, a lot of animals die, and it's not a great thing for a lot of these like fish and plankton and all that sorts of stuff that actually live in the ocean. And so here is some images of the Siberian traps. And so this is a very large amount of igneous rock that is right in Siberia. And so it's kind of hard to see in this image on the top right is basically you kind of see the border of the Siberian traps. So the area where the Siberian traps are. But you can see the highlighted colors here on the bottom right here. You actually see the oranges for the basalt, and then you got some tuff here in purple, and you see how much basalt rock there is in this area. This is a lot of like basalt, a lot of magma type of rock that was put out onto the surface. This was a huge volcanic eruption. The aftermath of the extinction. So when we do approach the Triassic extinction, or not to the Triassic, excuse me, the Triassic period, the beginning of the Triassic period. So when we get to 250 after 252 million years ago, the life on the planet was very scarce. And what we have here is 90 to 95% of marine life went extinct at that time. That is a lot of life forms that went extinct. 70% of land creatures went extinct as well. So, on average, you're looking at here is pretty close to 90% of life on Earth that went extinct. That is a huge number. This is why it's known as the Great Dying, because there was a lot of land animals, a lot of marine animals that went extinct. A majority of the animals that went extinct are the marine life, and that was very bad at that point in time. The losses here, so the animals that went extinct are the eurypterids. The eurypterids totally went extinct. The sea scorpions went extinct. The last bits of trilobites that were around went extinct. There were two species of trilobites that were left in the Permian, and they died out because of this extinction. The acanthodians, types of fish, where there's like they're kind of like almost like say lobefin fish in a way. They were, and also they had jaws, they had teeth. Uh, those fish went extinct. The blastoids, a type of like coral or somewhat almost look like sea stars in a way, they went extinct. Large insects, so like the giant dragonflies went extinct, but more likely they were already on their way out before, right when the extinction started to happen. And then the pelycosaurs. So this is very similar to Dimetrodon. So these types of creatures went extinct. They were starting to disappear before the extinction event happened, but the extinction event pretty much sealed the deal. But the animals that survived, there was a very limited amount, but there was still plenty of animals that survived. Like certain types of mollusks and coral did survive, but a lot of the coral that was around before the Permian extinction were was really cut down pretty significantly. Uh, Fish did survive, nautiloids did survive, sharks, insects, smaller insects. The amphibians, smaller amphibians, the large amphibians were starting to become extinct at that point in time. And there were some that did survive, but they were no longer being considered to be the top dogs in the waters at that point in time. Reptiles did survive, so you actually had your diapsids that survived, excuse me, and so those were like your like say like lizard-like creatures that ultimately became archosaurs, and of course crocodiles, dinosaurs, and birds. And so those would be those animals that ultimately came to be after the extinction event. But birds only came around in the Jurassic period. So, but the next episode of the extinction profile, we'll talk about the Triassic extinction probably around September. So I'll talk about that. The therapsids did survive. These would have been still the proto mammals, and some of them got smaller. And the most successful therapsids were the listosaurs or Listosaurus. They survived the Permian extinction, even though they were a somewhat large animal that were around at that point in time, and they still survived. They were actually going around into the Triassic as well. It wasn't until the middle part of the Triassic is when they really fully started to become extinct or were starting to disappear. But then you get animals that would start to become looking like mammals. These therapsids started to almost look like mammals in the Triassic. You know, they almost look like canine type of creatures, or almost look like cats in a certain way. But they were starting to become mammals at that point in time. So it took 30 million years for Earth to recover from this extinction. That is a long time to recover. So the early part of the Triassic, the rocks that housed some fossils early on in the Permian, in the early Triassic, it was nearly completely empty. Like when you look at marine deposits like limestones and shales, uh, before the extinction event, there was plenty of like corals, fish, mollusks, all that sorts of stuff that were roaming around. But after the extinction, when you get to the Triassic, early part of the Triassic, it's nearly completely black. So it is very, very scarce fossils that you actually will find in the early Triassic. When you get to the middle Triassic, that's when you start to see a lot more fossils start to show up in the rocks. And so, could a flood basalt actually happen again? That is a really, really good question. It could, but a flood basalt, if it happened around today, it would only affect a local area, a certain type of uh, disaster. It would not actually happen worldwide, because that's why in the Permian there was a giant supercontinent. That supercontinent was a reason why a lot of animals went extinct, because a lot of animals lived everywhere. They lived in like some of the same areas, some of the same continent, some of the same parts of the supercontinent. I mean, they were everywhere, and a lot of sea creatures were around in the same areas as well. So you had a lot of animals that were affected by this, but marine life was affected very, very hard, very badly in this situation. But marine life can be affected more by extinction events like this. And so, yeah, we gotta we know that certain types of volcanic eruptions can happen, but we also have to know that volcanic eruptions are very hard to predict. And so, yeah, this was the biggest extinction in Earth's history. There's no other extinction that comes close. So this is considered to be the biggest extinction event in Earth's history. And so the next episode will be on July 27th, 2023, and there'll be a special episode. So I'll let you guys know what kind of prehistoric animal I'm going to talk about. So stay tuned for that. It'll happen sometime in the weekend. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prison Facts of Dinochrist. Like the page, you actually post your questions in the comment section. Please put them in the comment section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messages for private conversations. And no, for you YouTubers out there, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel according to my analytics. A lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet, so please feel free to hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button. Hit the like button on many of my videos that are in the catalog, and into like all the videos that I have, into like my Q&As, special episodes, extra episodes, and even some of my shorts. Please feel free to hit the like button, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works now. Is the more likes the videos get, the more they get spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, paleontology, geology, prehistoric life in general. So that way, it can be reached to many people around the world to see some of these episodes. And like I said, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, so that way you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out weekly. And for YouTubers out there, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section, because I do read them all. Your questions mean a lot. All of you that are sending me questions like via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. You keep up the great work. You're giving me some great questions for the Q&A episodes, and make sure you keep your questions short to the point. And also, you can follow me on Instagram. I'll post pretty cool stuff on there at dino.chris.pf. That's my Instagram account, so please go check that out. And also, take care of the people around you. And also, for you younger people out there that miss listening, your parents, your teachers, and your guardians, it's the best motivation for good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. And it would be very soon, July 25th. July 25th, people. Tuesday at the Marathon County Library in Wausau, Wisconsin, from 1 to 4 p.m. Central Time, be watching Jurassic Park, and then after the movie, be talking about some of the things that Jurassic Park has right, and some things that are not accurate in that movie, and make it fun. I'm gonna make it fun. I'm gonna make it very fun for people to actually enjoy, and all that sorts of stuff. And so, if you're going to be in the Wausau, Wisconsin area on July 25th, from 1 to 4 p.m., and want to watch a movie that turned 30 years old this year, please come on down to the Marathon County Library in Wausau, Wisconsin, to watch Jurassic Park, and have me talk and listen to and actually and see me talk about some of the accurate things and not so accurate things of Jurassic Park. And so, and we all love Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is the best dinosaur movie of all time, and hopefully many of you can make it, and also come and say hello, and so on and so forth. And so, make sure you come on down uh, to watch Jurassic Park with me on July 25th. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.